I mean, again, my counter to that is that he's not that slow as long as you manage the haste. I don't think Hag should be 4.4. I used to agree with that. I don't think she should be 4.4. My suggestion has always been I think she needs a longer lunge when she comes out of her traps. But the solution to that would just be making her 115. The reason I thought she should be 1.4 is because it encourages her to actually set her traps up and not just chase like normal. Right, but I think the 4.4 thing is usually... it's to compensate for something else. No, I agree to an extent. God, I always say your name wrong. Uh, but no, I agree to an extent. I feel like I've said this before. If you use Omnipresent Evil on Jason and you get into a chase with someone relatively soon, even if you're not running Shu, and you are not able to down them by the time it runs out, you need to leave that chase. You have chased that person for too long. Obviously, there's exceptions, and game state matters, and where they are, what's going on matters. But if you were chasing someone for the entirety of that haste, you have been chasing them for too long. Sam? Okay, sorry. And if you're not really, like, digging, like, that because of how his power works and whatnot, and, oh, they'll just heal and whatnot, just run, what is it? What's the add-on? Is it Mirror Shards? Yeah, run Mirror Shards. No, it's fine. A lot of it... My point with this argument is a lot of it comes down to personal preference. That's the thing. Is I can't wait for in a year, by the way, when people say Blight should be 115 again. I can't wait for that. I think him being 4.4, but he's basically a pseudo 4.6 because of his base kit haste is fine. It's the same thing with Springtrap. It's like, I like that he's 4-4 when he has his axe because it encourages you to throw the axe to be 4.6. Right, but that's a Vigil problem. Also, I haven't been seeing Vigil that much today, if I'm honest with you. It's the same thing with Ghostface I bring up a lot. Like, this is not me saying Ghostface is a good killer. I need to make this clear because every time I bring up this fucking argument, people think it's what I'm saying. Ghostface is not a good killer. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is if you are chasing primarily with Ghostface, you are playing Ghostface wrong. Ghostface is not designed to chase. He is designed to ambush people. That is the entire point of his kit. The problem, and I'm not saying it's good, because the problem with that is the moment that there's any communication going on, that doesn't work. However, when it does work, it's fucking strong. But yeah, it's just like with Jason. It's like, I feel like if you're... Or like Clown. It's like when people play Clown and don't use the yellow bottles. Or the opposite. They don't use the purple bottles and only use the yellows. It's like you're judging the killer because you're not using part of the power or using it incorrectly. I would rather it just make Hag 4.6. The reason why I want to make Hag 4.6 is mostly so she has a longer lunge when she comes out of her trap. That's the big reason I want it. And I feel like Hinder might accomplish the same basic thing, but I feel like giving her a slightly longer lunge would help a lot of her issues. As far as buffing her traps, I think we had a long talk about this. I just don't know what you do. You can make it a debuff, I guess, but would she still be able to teleport to him? And then a lot of her add-ons, I don't know. Then again, a lot of her add-ons don't. Yeah, it's like if you or Freddy. I see so many people play, not so many people, but I see people play Freddy and don't use his dream palettes. And then say he's like a C tier killer. What do you mean? You're not using half the power. They don't lunge the same. Henry's problem was he was lunging even less than a 4.4 is supposed to. Springtrap had the same issue on release. He was when he was 4.6 after throwing his axe, the game was still registering him as 4.4 for attacks for some reason. Henry was weird because he was lunging at the same distance as a he was lunging the distance like I believe it was Nurse's lunge distance. It's like, I said this back when I was, maining Chucky in that community for a while. It was even with this, like, I heard, like, the amount of people who didn't use Scamper, for one, not manual Scamper, just the Scamper it is now. I'm not saying it's good at every loop, but the loops, when it can be used, I still don't see people using it. And the amount of people who wouldn't use his fucking camera, which blows my mind because it, like, you don't even have to quote-unquote use it. Just scan the area with your third-person camera, man. It's not that, oh my god. And would say the killer was bad. People still say this killer is bad. I think Chucky is, like, a respectable B tier. I think he's fine. I don't think he's dog shit. I think he's fine. As far as him being 110... For Chucky in particular, there's a few reasons he needs to be 110. The third-person camera is a big one. I know someone's going to bring up wolf form. I think wolf form should be 110 personally anyways. But it's the third-person camera is one reason. His short size is another. Because if he was 115, believe me, I tested this. It is very hard to react to anything he's doing when he's 115 and so short. And also, because of how his model works... if he hugs a lot of loops, he actually is 2% faster, technically speaking, based on how looping around things goes. So if he's 115, Chucky is actually 117. Yeah, I still think wolf form should be 4.4. I genuinely think it should. Just because of the third-person camera. Do I think the Judgment should be 4.6? I don't know yet. The thing with the Judgment, from what we've seen, my only fear is it depends on how easy it is to use the laser. If the laser is super easy to use or, like, generally controllable, I think he, we don't know yet, needs to be 4.4. You mean 4.4 backwards? Yeah, I know. It's just like with Pyramid Head. I've been playing this killer for, what, 7 months now? And it's like, Torment. Torment and caging people is such a powerful fucking tool that people dismiss now because of the, what's it called? The base kit BT, but it's still such a powerful tool. Not having to worry about Dead Hard or Decisive Strike, Breakdown, Shoulder the Burden, Will Make It, Resurgence, it's so powerful. They say that, but we'll see. It really depends. The problem with that too, though, Darth, is that depending on what they mean by that, is that would be user applied skill, because that brings in the brain surgeon argument for game design, right? That brings in the brain surgeon. So there's a concept. This is from Team Fortress 2. There's a concept called the brain surgeon argument in Team Fortress 2. I just use it in a lot of other games. Where is it okay for something to be powerful if it's really hard to do? And where is that line drawn? Because, okay, if you had to perform brain surgery with a character, let's say there was a character that that you had to perform brain surgery with them, and if you manage to do the brain surgery, you just win the match. Is that fair? Brain surgery is one of, if not the hardest things anyone can ever do. It's difficult. It's genuinely shocking anyone's able to even accomplish that task. But if we made an ability in a game that was so hard to use that it was at the equivalency of rocket science or brain surgery, is it okay if it just, like, basically instantly wins you the match? That it's a super powerful effect? Because that would be my only concern. I know there was a bit of a tangent with that, but that's my only concern with making the Judgment 4.6. Because, again, while they say it is difficult to use, this is Dead by Daylight. There is not that many things that are that difficult to use in this game. Like, genuinely. I mean, like, Hillbilly Curves are a good example. Like, yeah, they're impressive, but honestly, if you sit down and play Hillbilly for a while, I'd say, like, maybe a day or two, you won't be perfect at it, but you'll get the hang of it. Nurse, I mean, people say she's hard, but I think after, like, 4 or 5 matches, once you learn the range and how to charge the blink properly, she's really not that hard. I really don't think she is. It does depend on player skill. But that's the thing. That's the thing. Where is that line drawn? Where is that line drawn? Again, the brain surgeon argument, like, that's the massive extreme, right? But, like, let's say you had a projectile that ricocheted, okay? And if it bounces, and it can ricochet infinitely, right? It can hit one wall, bounce off another wall, and then keep bouncing until it doesn't hit a wall or it hits a target. If it was designed to instantly kill a player, if it bounces off of 5 walls before impacting a player, that is really difficult to do. Does that justify the strength? Because that would be my question. Whether or not it's actually difficult. Yeah, that's another thing. It's like if people get good enough with it, if enough people mess around with it long enough, like where does that line get drawn? Human error does matter. I think that's a thing with, like, Huntress is a good example. Like, remember when Huntress got buffed to having 7 hatchets and we were all like, she doesn't need 7 hatchets because the people who are good with her don't need it. Then we kind of forget about the human error side of it. And are we balancing a Huntress around the assumption that people are landing every single hatchet? And if not, what percentage are we balancing it around? 70%? 60%? 80%? 20%? And which percentage is right? That's not, and again, that's not thinking about other factors like map design, geometry, etc., etc. Yeah, then there's the opposite of it. If you make something too hard with not enough of a benefit. And that's something that they have to think about constantly with all this. Singularity is a good example. I disagree with people saying he's dog shit easy now. I don't think he is. But Singularity is a good example. Even now, like, his play rate hasn't gone up ever since people claim he's really super easy and brainless now. But even before, like, when he was strong, when he was hard, like, when he was super difficult for a lot of people, he was still really good, yet no one fucking played him. People want to balance killers around assumptions. It's perfect play nowadays. That's the thing that you can't balance around perfection. You can't. That's just a cause for disaster. That's the problem. That's the problem with balancing around the pro scenes of games. Right? Is because and I'm not saying pros are perfect. They're not. Believe me, I've seen pros fucking make mistakes. That's the problem with balancing around pro players is that, and I'm not saying you should never balance around pro players. I'm not saying that at all. I think you should. There should be a healthy mix of balancing around pros and the average. But the problem is a pro player can, like, take a... Like, Rainbow Six Siege. I'm going to bring up Rainbow Six Siege. Rainbow Six Siege is a good example of this, right? Recoil. Recoil is a stat they adjust for balance adjustments all the time. Pro players don't give a shit about recoil. They don't. They play the characters so much, scrim so often, recoil is a non-existent stat to them. Yet they have to buff and nerf that stat on certain guns because it's too good for the average player. Or too weak for the average player. Also, people start trying to do more frequently, instead of playing the game and enjoying the characters, some add-ons and DVD can be distracting for the same reason. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's the problem with doing it in any game. I mean, I've said it before, it's like... If you take, like, a master... Like, what is it in Valorant? Oh my god, I forget the fucking... Ascendant? I think it's Ascendant. If you take, like, Ascendant tier in Valorant, and that one player... Technically speaking, they're the best players in the game, and if we do top-down balancing, all the balancing we do around that Ascendant player, the one at the top, should trickle down to everyone else and make the game balanced. But it doesn't. Game devs have done this in the past before, and in theory, it should work. For some things, it does work, but it doesn't work for everything. Is it Radiant? I'm sorry. What's Ascendant? Is Ascendant Rivals? I don't know. Every game has a fucking different name for the tops. Like Apex, Ascendant, Radiant, Masters, like... if DBD had one, it would be Iridescent. It's just like... One above all? Okay, fair enough. Like Pyramid Head. Pyramid Head is actually a really good example of this, right? Do we balance Pyramid Head around the assumption that you're going to land every M2? Because if we do, this character should be weak as shit. If you were able to land every M2 on Pyramid Head, this character should be weak as shit. It goes through walls. The range is decent and will land at basically any loop. And if you're running Music Box, you're not really punished all that much for missing. On top of his cage mechanic. And you know what? You know what character exemplifies this the most? Henry. Oh, probably not. We're just ranting at this point before I do the Photoshop stuff. Henry. Have you played against a good Henry before? Or watched a good Henry before? That motherfucker don't miss. That motherfucker don't miss. He don't miss. And if he lands the center of that dot, that you're not dodging it. If he's good enough to constantly land the center of that dot on you, you're not getting out of the vine. My Henry senses are tingling. Hi, James. Yeah, I mean, I've seen fucking James here fucking obliterate people with this killer. If you are good enough and getting that flow state of landing your vines on him, he is, in my opinion, virtually uncounterable. And it leads to a question because, in theory, a lot of people say that's actually what they want. They want people to be rewarded for being skillful at a character. But there's a line. Because if you are so good with a character, you basically never miss. Well, that's not very interactive now, is it? For the exact reason. He's really cool, but his kid is not exactly, Matt, did you mean... I don't know what word you mean there. For a long-distance sharpshooter, it's more about control, movement, and force decisions. Yeah, for the most part. There are ways to play him for long distance. If you run Iridescent... Where is it? I know I have a build for it. If you run Iridescent Seal of Metatron, you can make this character better than Huntress, in my opinion. It doesn't even take that long to charge up. It's half your meter. 5 seconds of trailing and you have it. And you get like a 20 meter... Hang on, no. It's 25 meter range. But yeah. That's where human error comes back through. Because yes, theoretically, he can land every vine round on top of people. But even someone who plays him... Yeah, no, yeah, I agree. I agree. It's just... How do you balance around that? How many vine attacks are we assuming he's landing every match to balance around? That's the tricky thing with a killer like this. With a lot of killers like that. With a lot of 4.6 killers in general. The other thing with being 4.6 is, like I mentioned with Hag, it's to encourage you to actually use your power. Springtrap's the best example of this. If he wasn't 4.6, more people would just fucking M1 with him. And he does it now, but he would do it even more than he currently does. He would just zone with his axe all the time. Like, all the time. Yeah, and the fact, I think the fact that he doesn't instantly damage also helps him a lot. It's the same thing that I also think keeps Artist in check. It's just, that's the thing. It's like, there's no perfect solution. Would I like to test Jason at 115? Yes. I would love to test Jason at 115. I would love to test fucking Trickster at 115 in his current state. I would love to. But there's no real way to do it, unfortunately. And the thing is, let's say we do make Jason at 115. Because this is the other problem with it. Let's say we do make Jason 115. And it's a problem. Well, we're kind of stuck with that shit for at least a month and a half. She can slingshot at least, but that takes skill, timing, general game knowledge. Or yeah, a trickster. Going against a trickster that never misses, it's fucking miserable. Oh my god. Yeah, if they add those modding tools, that'll be great. I would love to test shit like that. Just to see how bad it is. Or how good it is. Because that's the thing, we can sit here and say Jason should be 115. But that brings up another question. If we make him 115, should he still have the haste after he comes out of Omnipresent Evil? And if we do that... Okay, we really have to rework one add-on. I thought it was 2. But that's the thing, though. That's kind of why I like Jason. I like the haste management. I like the fact that when I'm in chase... I was talking about this last night, I think, with Bailey. Where it's... I like this idea of... I think it was James. I don't remember who. But when I'm playing Jason, I'm like... I'm focusing on my haste. And if it's about to run out, if I can still get the down without it once it runs out... if I throw my spear right here, is there a pile next to me or in my path on the direction they're going to run? If I land my spear, am I going to knock them in a direction where they're going to land next to a pile so I can just pick one back up? Like, all of those things that Jason has, it just tickles something in the back of my brain that I love. And I think that's why I don't mind him being 110 while getting 115 when he comes out of Omnipresent Evil. Because it adds another layer to that management. And I think, to me, that's why I don't mind him being the way he is. I understand the complaints and the way people are feeling about it. One recommendation I do have to those people, though, who do want him 115 is run batteries included. I know it sounds dumb, but one, it would overtake his haste from his base kit because it's 5%. And you would be surprised how often you can get it by using, again, Omnipresent Evil. Because that's the other thing, too. If he didn't get the haste from Omnipresent Evil, there's almost no reason to use it in Chase. The more I think about it. There are times when you can get cutoffs with it, but you're not really ever going to use it in Chase.